different people, different groups of people come into New Zealand, like from the Middle East, from Africa. We've got a history of, Chinese settlement in New Zealand. If you can get out and meet somebody from a different culture, it's a really good experience. For someone who's just come to New Zealand, it would really make their day.
Kia ora and welcome to voiceofaroha. I'm Rata and I'm very, very, very excited to be joining with a fabulous guest today who I've had the pleasure of meeting before and who we've had the pleasure in the studio of reconnecting with some old friendly faces. My lovely guest and I have battled through the Wellington weather today. It's been a really rainy, cold day, but I hope it's much nicer weather whenever you're listening and watching. Now my lovely guest Jeff, could you introduce yourself please?
Kia ora. I'm Jeff Handscomb. I'm a senior teacher at ETC, or English Teaching College. So I do a bit of teaching in the morning and a bit of management in the afternoon. And yeah, I've been at ETC for about 17 years. So yeah, I really enjoy the job, meet some really interesting people who I see in the street most of the time when I go out, and it was great seeing him here today. So yeah, no, it's a very rewarding job.
17 years, that is quite the commitment.
Yes.
What brought you to ETC in the first place?
Well, I taught English in South Korea.
Whoa.
And I worked in Hong Kong for about 4.5 years, which I loved. So I like teaching, I like people. So yeah, I just thought I'd carry on doing the work in New Zealand, and yeah, it's been very enjoyable.
Could you, a little bit of a deep question, would you say you've got a why for kind of why you love teaching English, or sort of why you work at ETC, and especially it's a job I think that comes with a lot of diversity and a lot of different things. Do you have a why for your mahi?
Yeah, I like the diversity. I'm interested in different cultures. I always have been, even as a little kid, learning about different cultures. I remember we had a relief teacher come into school and she did a lesson on, I think it was China. Mum picked me up from school. She said, "What did you learn today?" And I said, "Oh, I learned about people in different countries. Their eyes are different. They eat with chopsticks and they speak funny languages." And I told my mother I wanted some chopsticks. And we lived in Mosgiel, which is just outside of Dunedin. There weren't really that many Chinese shops, but we went to a Chinese greengrocer, and Mum asked the old lady if she could buy some chopsticks. And the woman said, "No, we don't sell them," but she went out back and got me some. So I was a big fan on chopsticks, so I would only eat with chopsticks, and every birthday Mum would cook Chinese food, so I was fascinated at a young age.
That's so beautiful.
And it was quite funny because my daughter grew up in Hong Kong, and when we came back, when she was about 7, we noticed that she couldn't really use a knife or fork, so she used chopsticks around about the same age as I did. So yeah.
Gosh, what a beautiful story.
Yeah, I've always been interested in different cultures, different people. Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting you, Jeff.
No, good as gold.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's beautiful. Especially it must be very, very interesting to have seen the changes to New Zealand since you were a child in Mosgiel to sort of the I think the much more I think we're a much more multicultural nation now in 2024 than when you were a youngster.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But growing up in Mosgiel, there were a lot of Chinese families, a lot of market gardeners, so had some good Chinese pals. But yeah, it's really interesting to see different people, different groups of people come into New Zealand, like from the Middle East, from Africa. We've got a history of, Chinese settlement in New Zealand, but it's great to see people from the Middle East, from Africa, from South America. So yeah, New Zealand has changed quite a bit, and I think for the better too. Yeah, I think we can learn a lot from different cultures.
Definitely. Could you tell us a little bit about the work that ETC does, and how they sort of what ETC does for those who don't know? Although I imagine a lot of our audience have maybe come through ETC in their time in New Zealand. But could you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, we teach English to migrants and refugees and international students. So we have people come in at a very low level, and we teach right up to getting them ready for university, for work. Yeah, we've got about 6 classes out in Lower Hutt. So we don't only just teach English, we look after them with pastoral care, make sure everything's going okay. We prepare them to live in New Zealand and make sure everything's going well for them. Yeah, so yeah, it's a neat place. We have students from about 18 to about 70.
Wow.
The oldest student I taught was 80 years old.
Wow.
And it's incredible. You meet people from all different walks of life. People who have just lived on the plains of Africa and worked as shepherds, running away from lions, climbing up trees and things like that, to university professors. So it's great to see the different people, the different walks of life. And the great thing is that just about everybody, like the majority, 99.9% of people get on, you know. If you were to believe the news, you would think that people can't get on with different cultures and different races, but that's not the case. So it's great going into school and seeing young people talking to old people, people from Africa speaking to Chinese people, people from Iran and Iraq getting on. So it's a really, really great place, considering, you know, places, history, politics that have gone down.
It sounds like you've, you and ETC have created a really amazing culture there that sort of celebrates learning, but also, you know, quite incredible social cohesion, I think. Do you think do you think you've got a particularly strong culture there, or is it just kind of the power of people wanting to come together?
Yeah, I think we do. We try and make it a family place, a family environment. We say ETC is a big family. We all need to get on. We all learn through working together. So yeah, we try and foster that. We have hui every couple of weeks, and it's a way to bring the school together. And yeah, we try and reinforce that point that we are like a family. We're here for you, because it's difficult for people, you know, for some people coming over, they don't have family, may have not interacted with different people from different cultures or even different age groups. So it's really good, and yeah, most people thrive there. Yeah.
Sounds like a beautiful introduction to New Zealand, but also it sounds like some lessons that New Zealand could learn in terms of we're all one big family and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you do much teaching of culture kind of New Zealand and kind of introducing, do you do much to kind of bring these different cultures together or include Te Ao Māori at all in the ETC work?
Yes. We're just getting ready to celebrate Matariki.
Beautiful.
So we did a little bit on that yesterday in class, talked a bit about our Māori history and things like that. So yeah, we try and bring in Māori culture. But we also like to celebrate all the different cultures at school. Some of our assessments are based on doing presentations about your country. So we like to get the students to be the experts in their field is a really nice way to teach. Yeah. We have a cultural day. We have shared lunches. People can be proud of their culture. Yep.
And you have a, I was very, very fortunate to have attended your cultural day this year, and my gosh, it was wonderful.
Yep.
I thought it was a huge achievement and also just a wonderful, wonderful adventure and joy for everyone to get to witness beautiful cultures coming together. Do you have that every year?
Yeah, we try to do it every year, and it's a fantastic thing. The students really get on board with it. They take real pride in decorating the rooms and teaching about their culture, and you see them in a different role, and it breaks down the barriers between student and teacher, and where they can be experts and they can feel empowered. Yeah.
I think it sounds like what a lot of you do, it sounds like the work that you do is really reflective of how we can have a more beautiful and better, I would say, Aotearoa, in terms of celebrating the backgrounds, the strengths, the diversity of your students, and giving them opportunities to share who they are, as well as introducing them to our culture and some of the wonderful festivities like Matariki that we have here. It just sounds like a beautiful, beautiful encapsulation of who we can be as a community.
Yeah. I just think it's a win-win situation when people can celebrate diversity. I think it's a really important thing to be able to do. It helps you grow as a person. Life is short. Time. I guess you've got to try and spend your time in a positive way. Yeah.
What do you think the biggest strengths of ETC are?
I think it's the students and the staff and the culture. Like we were talking about previously, it's got a really great culture. It's one of respect. We have an absolutely fantastic teaching staff. Got some really great teachers in Wellington and Lower Hutt. Really like my team in the Hutt. Very supportive, hardworking, kind, considerate. So yeah, I think those are the strengths. People are the strengths. I
think it's a beautiful message for us as well. People are the strengths. Thank you for that. Moving on slightly to your personal experience at ETC, I was wondering if there are any highlights of the very long 17 years that you've worked there, or things that stick out to you that have brought you a lot of joy in your career?
Yeah, I guess it was meeting Hamid. And fantastic seeing him tonight. It's just meeting people, getting to know them, seeing them in a social setting is good. I really like it when students come up to me in the street and say hello and find out what they've done. We teach such talented people, like I said before, people were shepherds in their country, factory workers, university professors, business people, things like that. But there is one story that sort of sticks out. I was teaching a student from Afghanistan, a student called Fahima Yusufi, and she came into my class. It was a level 1 class. I think it was around about 2022, a couple of years ago, and we were doing weekend writing. And she said, I had a boring weekend in her writing. And in her writing it said, I played football by myself. I don't know anyone in New Zealand. So I thought, oh, okay. So I left it, didn't say too much, corrected her grammar, and she was off. And then the next week we had a sports day, and I saw her playing football. And I said to her sister, Fazana, I said, gosh, your sister's Fahima's good. She goes, oh yeah, she used to play football for the national Afghani women's side. So I had a yarn to Fahima afterwards, and I said, you want to play football in New Zealand? She goes, yeah. I said, you played football for Afghanistan? She says, yeah, I did. So I got on the phone to the Lower Hutt Football Club, and I told them about her, and they said, right, you better call up the Phoenix. So I called up the Phoenix and got onto one of their managers, and he just dropped everything. He came over straight away, and he said to Fahima, he said, right, have you got a football strip? And she goes, no, I haven't got any football clothes. So he said, right, we'll get your boots, shorts, anything you need. Do you drive? And she said, no. He said, right, we'll get you a driver. And then, so she was getting all sorted, and then the newspaper came over, and then we did a photo shoot, and she's just going from strength to strength. And this Thursday we're going to have a hui for Matariki, and she's going to bring along one of her trophies.
Oh, that's incredible.
So, that was a pretty special moment. Yep, that was pretty good.
I love that story. I love that story so much.
Yeah.
I think it's, as you say, it's beautiful because you can see the real strength of the people who are coming to New Zealand, and yeah, you may have left in quite challenging circumstances, you know, from Afghanistan, but the absolute talent that is
Yeah.
coming to this country and coming through ETC. But it's also a beautiful story, I think, for how much love and how much dedication is coming from all of you guys to support our people and to support these beautiful people coming in and going to, you know, I think beyond the extra mile, calling up all the football teams and things like that, and really setting them up in the first stage of the journey is just the most incredible gift. And it's beautiful and wonderful that we get to see that we get to have Fahima on our teams on the Phoenix, and to get to see her doing really, really well for New Zealand and playing for us and with us is just the most beautiful thing.
Yeah, hopefully some financial rewards will come my way.
Yeah, she wins her hundreds of thousands things, is, you know, gives it back to her wonderful patron of.
She keeps promising me she will.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've gained a lot, both in definitely gained a lot in terms of the wealth, but it sounds like mostly in internally and emotionally in resources given to you. But
Yeah, it definitely gives you some perspective, you know. Some people come from some really terrible places. Some people thrive, some people struggle. But, you know, it's amazing to see people make the most of things. And, you know, when someone has really come from a hard place, and to see them grow and you know, really flourish in New Zealand, it's really, really good, really heartening. Yeah.
thank you for sharing that lovely story. Gosh, yeah, you've got a lot of wisdom, Jeff. It's hard to hard to compare. Was wondering, are there any big lessons that you've learned? I think either through challenges in the job or any of those kinds of things, or
Yeah, just that everybody's different. Everybody deserves to be respected. Yeah, it's. I went to a really interesting workshop a couple of weeks ago. There was a woman speaking from Vietnam, and she talked about all the different aspects of culture. You have a collective culture, an individualistic culture. New Zealand, on a spectrum, is reasonably more individualistic than, say, Vietnam, and how that shapes people's thinking. Some cultures are hierarchical, whereas New Zealand's reasonably egalitarian. And the various aspects of culture, what makes people different, and how really we are very, very different, and we need to acknowledge that and respect that. But I guess just at the end of the day, see each other as humans, and that's it. So sometimes there'll be misunderstandings, but as long as you can understand that not everybody's the same, not everybody thinks the same, feels the same, has the same values, I think that's a really, really important thing. Kind of sounds a bit obvious maybe, but when you really think about it, it does change your perspective a little bit.
do you have any? I think it's hugely valuable. Do you have any ideas or perspectives on how New Zealanders could do that, how we as a country could do that? Because I think it sounds like you modelled that very, very well at ETC. And obviously I imagine you do that quite a lot. It sounds like you've always done that quite a lot in your own personal life. Any suggestions or ideas for just individuals or us as a community or a nation?
Yeah, I guess getting involved in the community, meeting different people, tolerance. Yeah, it all starts with attitude, I think. But yeah, meeting different people, having an interest, curiosity. I think curiosity is the first thing. Like I had that curiosity around chopsticks and Chinese food for every birthday. Yeah, I think it starts off with curiosity, and there comes a bit of knowledge or whatever it is, and that can change attitude. So yeah, different attending different festivals, different things that are on around the city. Wellington's a great city, and Cuba Duper and the Newtown Festival and things like that. You get to see different dances and different food and things like that. I think that's an entry point. Yeah.
I think it's great advice, and especially I've felt really blessed since I've been living in Wellington to experience the huge abundance of culture and variety of tastes and languages and music and dance and all the amazing things that Wellington has for offer. And I think it's really good advice for our audience as well of get out there, get involved, and go see some of the beautiful things that this world and Aotearoa has to offer. That including some of the tastes and languages of everyone, all these people. Yeah, that's really good advice. Also, it sounds like ETC is a really, really lovely place to drop by if you have interest or either work. Do you take volunteers at ETC?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, take volunteers. Another really good experience I had was had a guy called Adam. He was finishing off a paper at university, and he came along as a volunteer, and he did some co-teaching in the classroom as a teacher aide, and he really loved it, and he got involved in teaching. So it's neat to have people come along who have an interest, and then they really enjoy it. Yeah, I've had a few volunteers over the years. Yeah, it's good. It's good for the students to see, to work in with different people from New Zealand, get used to them, and things like that. Yeah.
Lovely. So if you're interested in joining or making a difference in learning about people of different cultures and languages, sounds like ETC can be the perfect place to volunteer as well.
Absolutely. If there's anyone out there who wants to volunteer.
As it also sounds like an incredibly rewarding experience, and guess also, who knows who you will meet and where they might be from, where they might be going.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. No, highly recommend it.
Thank you, Jeff. Just wondering also about the track of the journey of some of your students. What sort of data do you keep? And first question, how do you know they're refugees as opposed to migrants or different things like that?
Yeah, we work in with groups like the Red Cross, and they bring people to us, and we before the enrolment we find out a lot of information about them, so that we can know how we can help them. So we find out all that information before they go into the classroom. We do a lot of data collecting, a lot of report writing. We do reports on student destinations. That's what I've been working on this afternoon. Just tracking where our students from 2023 have ended up, whether it be Welltech, Whitireia, work, going overseas, or staying with ETC. So we keep a lot of data on the students, see how things are going. Yeah, it's really great seeing people come in through the school. Somebody who has very, very little English, and we've had students who study for 2 or 3 years, starting off with zero English, and in 2 or 3 years I started university. That's incredible. That really is outstanding. I mean, everybody learns differently. Everybody learns at a different speed, and that's all good. But it's quite amazing when you see someone who does it in such a short time. Yeah.
How important do you think it is to keep that sort of data and to reflect on how well it's going?
I think it's important. I think it's very important to to know where the organisation's going and in what direction, and it's great to think back on the different students that we've had. Yeah, very important.
I think it's it sounds like a very, very good model for how to run successful integration and successful social cohesion. I think I'm very glad to hear that in the future we'll be getting more data for refugees nationally on where they're going and things like that. But it sounds like you're ahead of the time and been modelling really, really good practices for all of us.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Gosh, we're coming vaguely to the end. I want to keep chatting to you and hearing all the wonderful lessons you have for us. You've covered your biggest success story. We've heard about the amazing Fahima. We've had some wonderful things. I guess another question would be, how important? Obviously, we've heard so much, but how important do you think ETC is for recent arrivals of whether refugees or migrants from overseas? How important do you think ETC's role is?
Yeah, I think it's very important. It gives people a social network. It gives them a place that they know that is safe, where they can ask for help if they need to. It teaches them about New Zealand culture, but it also teaches them about other cultures as well, and the value and the importance of diversity. I think it makes them more rounded people. Yeah, I think they get a lot from it. A lot of students say what a positive environment it is. And a lot of students we have, come from pretty monocultural societies, and for a lot of them, it's the first time they've met people from such a diverse background. We've got classrooms of, I've got about 10 students in my class, and I've got students from China, Vietnam, Myanmar, Colombia. So when somebody comes in, it's like they're on a wee tour of the world. No, it's good. It's an important thing for a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people really miss it when they leave. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Jeff. I'm hugely appreciative of your work, and I think it's absolutely fantastic that our community has such an incredible resource like this for all of us to draw on. I think I can't wait for the next DTC Cultural Day, and I'm very, very, very lucky that we have all of your dedication, the dedication of all your colleagues and staff. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Just wondering if you could share if you have a final message for the audience of anything at all, whether it's be respectful, loving, or a favourite memory.
I think just if you can get out and meet somebody from a different culture, it's a really good experience. And for someone who's just come to New Zealand, it would really make their day. So get out and meet people and enjoy life and experience everything.
That's beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jeff. It has been an absolute privilege having you on our show today. Again, I appreciate you making your way through the terrible weather to come and give us the taste of the world with from all of your experience at ETC. And I'm sure that all of our migrants and refugee background arrivals who come through your doors will be really, really happy with the experience they get. And it's lovely hearing the success and the joy that people get from experiencing all of your mahi. So thank you so much, Jeff. I wish you the best in your continued journey. The question that we have for you today from our previous guest is, if you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh gosh. I do. This is not very philosophical, but I do like. I would like to fly. That would be pretty cool.
Why would you like to fly?
Oh, I've always liked the wind, flying kites and windsurfing and things like that. Yeah.
You're in a good city for liking the wind. I'm glad you like the wind. Yeah.
True. Yeah. Dreams of flying as a little kid, they're always pretty interesting. So, yeah.